Welcome to the St. Louis Park Rec Center, an exciting North Suburban Conference girls hockey action. I'm John Fromm, along with a couple of special guests. St. Louis Park's only Kevin Fallness joins us, and John Basil as our colorman tonight. Guys, what do you expect for the game tonight? Let's start with you, Kevin.
I expect to have a lot of fun. That's all I know. I don't know much about either squad other than the fact that they're both relatively young from what you guys are telling me, and I think it should make for a pretty even matchup, I think, on both ends of the ice.
Yeah, and Bays, your comments?
Well, I'm just honored to be working with Kevin tonight. That's making my night right there. But no, I expect a very competitive game. I think both teams, there are a lot of youth on both teams, and they're going to come out. They're both hard-working teams, and we'll see who. I think it's going to come down to work and ethic and attitude, and we'll see who puts some points on the board.
Should be an interesting battle. Both teams, as we mentioned, are in the North Suburban. St. Francis North Branch is a cooperative program, so you've got two high schools kind of merged on the youth level that all the way up through high school. They're coached by first-year head coach Beth Keel, who has her husband, John, as their assistant coach, and he's also in his first year. They both were college hockey players, and the Orioles, like usual, are coached by second-year man Donnie Williams and several assistant coaches, one of which you know well, Kevin, from your days at Park.
I do, but there's about 1,000 Everses running around the St. Louis Park metro area, so I went to, actually, his brother Chad is my exact age, and then he's probably, I think Jake's a couple years younger, but there's Kenny, there's Bobby, there's Jimmy, there's Stevie, I'm making up some of those names, but there's a few of them running around here. If they have red hair, they're probably related.
Yes, and Bobby still works here as well, too.
Sure.
And Chad was a WCHA official for a while.
Yeah, last I heard, we had our 20-year reunion, which I hate to admit to, just a couple of years ago, and Chad, last I heard, was in Iowa working. Not so much hockey related, but he's got a couple of kids, and I know they're very involved in youth hockey as we speak.
It was St. Marie taking the draw for the St. Francis / North Branch club today. Orioles battling with their first line of Molly Arntzen, Anna Basil, and Lauren Brune-Bryan out there. Senior defensewoman Megan Behrens will try to corral that and break it out for St. Louis Park. The Orioles are in their white uniforms, their home jerseys. Here's the junior Arntzen as she changes directions on that pass and pushes it over on the board to Behrens. First unit for St. Francis consists of Jessica St. Marie, number 23, Callie Wagner. Their leading scorer is number 21, and Holly Anderson for St. Francis. The Fighting Saints are from St. Francis, and they also are the Vikings. We've got two teams merged together, so we got some unusual nicknames going here.
Always interesting when you get those co-ops going and to see who wins out. I was watching some of the preview stuff for Duluth East versus Cloquet tonight, and Cloquet's a co-op as well, and Cloquet and the Lumberjacks went out on that one. That's all heritage up there.
Yeah, I love that mascot, absolutely.
I do too.
A couple of sets of defensemen back there for St. Francis that are sisters. That's number 6, Danae Duville, and she's paired tonight with her sister Afton Duville back there, number 5. So take a look for those young ladies.
And from her, you'll see Samantha Jamuzek back in the lineup.
Yeah.
Last game we did, she was out with hurt foot, and she's back in. It's nice to have her back up on the D.
And Catherine Evans out there as well, playing second line for St. Louis Park with the injury to your daughter, Elena Basil. So that'll be a big loss. Possible 2-on-1 break for St. Francis. This is number 2 for them. St. Martin, and she's got the puck behind there, and she works her way around. Sigfinius back to center ice, and she passes it on the near wall. Pass comes up to Duville and is put into the Orioles zone, but St. Louis Park able to knock it back out with number 13, Jermusik, the sophomore defenseman. As you mentioned, she just came back. Her brother Frank is also a defenseman for St. Louis Park for the boys team. Here's for Liddy for St. Francis. Puts the puck on net, and Megan Behrens able to stop that momentarily and work it up the near wall. Held in by Duville for the Saints. Pushed on in, and Carlander will put a stick on that and stop the momentum towards them. And here's Kiefer at the blue line, unable to break possession, but Carlander pushes that right pad down and able to push it into the corner.
That was actually a nice save from her. Went off one of our players, a little deflection.
Looks like we've got a hook possibly being whistled down here, at least that's officiated. Yeah, we'll talk a little bit, John, about Annika Carlander, who gets the second start of the season tonight in goal for Park.
Yeah, this is her second start for the year. She's young, she's an 8th grader, but her work ethic, her ability to move laterally is very, very strong. She likes to challenge, and when she's up on top of the crease, she does a very nice job of stopping the puck.
Arnson off the face-off draw win, and she gets it back to Megan Behrens, the senior, with a wrist shot. Redirect down low, and a nice pad save that time by Bullen, the senior goaltender for St. Francis.
Very timely kick save there by Bullen, if you ask me. That was coming into the low streamer. She kicks out that right toe, makes the save, keeps them off the board.
Here's Megan behind the net, the senior defenseman and captain for St. Louis Park. Passes it over to Kiefer, number 24 for the Orioles. Back on trying to set up that umbrella. Behrens with a shot on goal, nice redirect. And there's Basil down low battling like she has to do at the kitchen table, John, for those scraps.
Yeah, she does. You know, there's a lot right now, a lot of kids at the kitchen table. So, you know, this power play has been very effective. The scores that we've had this year have come on the power play, so let's hope we can get one here.
Let me tell you too, Bullen was in that blue paint right there, and as she's hovering over that puck, she's looking around. She has zero idea if it's underneath her. She jumped down on it, luckily got the face off, and they dropped it to the left of her, but she had zero idea if that was behind her, in front of her, on top of her, where it might be.
Yeah, and she's a relatively small goalie, but she's played all 7 games in net for them too, so she's seen a lot of pucks so far this year. A nice wrist shot on net by St. Louis Park. I believe that was number 2, Lauren Brune-Bryan, who shot that, and puck shot out down in the corner again, and Brune-Bryan will corral that back to the top of the circle to Behrens. Behrens with a redirect and a shot and a goal on the power play. At the 13-15 mark on a power play, it looked like Megan Behrens was going right to left a little bit with her direction, and she shot that and beat her on the right side.
Yeah, anytime you're moving right to left, it can come back to that lower stick side. Got a good chance to score. It's a very nice shot from Megan.
Yeah, well, and that's got to be, I believe that's Megan's first goal of the year for St. Louis Park. She already had 3 assists on the year. Lauren Brune-Bryan will be credited with the assist for St. Louis Park on that. So Behrens with her first of the year for the senior, and you could tell that Bullen had no idea where that shot was coming. So a nice screen by St. Louis Park. And now, as we return to live action, Kaler brings the puck in for St. Francis. She's their top defensewoman, number 16 out there for them on the right point. So St. Louis Park with an early 1-0 lead, and Samantha Jermusik tries to ride off the Fighting Saint player in the corner. That's Swanson back there, pushed behind the net again by St. Louis Park. Here's Leah Schrank on the near wall. Schrank, the junior, will cross nicely, just a little bit ahead of Cunningham, who breaks for St. Louis Park, and a nice pass to break out by Kaler, and it's redirected into the St. Louis Park zone, and the Saints will get a change on the fly here. 12:21 remains in the first period. It looks like we're going to have an icing sequence on St. Louis Park, as unfortunately that puck is iced down by Natalie Vig.
Good start to the game here by St. Louis Park. I think a bulk of the aggression has been down on the offensive end. They had that power play goal about 3-4 minutes here into the first period, and they have the 1-0 lead. I know this St. Francis team is vulnerable, and if you can jump up on top of them and keep that pressure applied, they could go well into the Orioles' advantage. Here's Sig Phineas off the draw for St. Francis. She's makes a mistake and she's kicked out, and Swanson will take that draw. Nice face-off win by Arnson, and Megan Behrens will break the zone for St. Louis Park. With the loss of Elena, John, even more pressure probably on Megan to rush the puck forward, as well as be aggressive on her pinch on the defensive side too. Yeah, when they see Elaine, Megan's one of those offensive defense people that can really bring it up. She sees the ice well, and there's a lane. She should take that lane and take it to the net. And she's got a big shot too. Swanson out there with Downey for them. A possible 2-on-1 break is alerted, and here's the 8th grader Catherine Evans on net for St. Louis Park. She's a young lady that's going to see a lot of ice with the new transitions and the substitutions that'll have to take place. Kiefer behind the net for St. Louis Park. Pushes it up to the near wall, back to Evans with a quick turnaround shot that goes wide, cross ice. Picked up by Duville. Duville with a nice check on the offside by Basil there. She rides her off the puck, and a shot just wide of the net that time by Kiefer. St. Louis Park really doing a nice job skating around here, holding time of possession, Kevin. Yeah, I mean, the cycle has been spectacular, and that's exactly what you want to see. The more you can hang on to the puck, obviously that's going to be for the better for St. Louis Park, and just avoid those turnovers like we just witnessed. And here's Swanson for St. Francis. She pushes it down as the Saints finish their change, and a nice job behind her own net. Molly Arnson with speed, able to get it to her teammate Lauren Brune-Bryan. Brune-Bryan
beats the zone and just shoots it and almost hits the far corner. Brune Bryant on a redirect off a shot by Basil, and that almost goes in as well, so nice chance. And Molly Arnson as well tries to shoot it down. We're going to have a penalty whistled, I believe, on the Saints.
I think this is going to be on St. Louis Park. I think that'll put St. Francis on the power play for the first time, as it looks like Park is on their way to the box.
You are correct. A cross-checking call signaled. I didn't quite catch that, but Molly Arnson whistled for the penalty at the 10:29 mark. So
you want to try to avoid those offensive penalties if you can. I didn't quite pick it up either.
It was here along the near boards. I didn't see exactly what happened, but they called the cross-check, so it was one that was hard to pick up out of the crowd.
So as the Orioles get a power play goal early on, this just a little slight contact, not too much. So we're going to take a look at the Saints power play as they bring out the St. Marie Wagner Anderson unit. That's St. Marie back to the point to Duville, and that shot is well wide on the point. Back to her sister. And a cross down low, and a nice one-time attempt, and that
Beautiful
was Anderson
save.
over to St. Marie. St. Marie just misses tying it up there. 16 at the point, that's Kaler for the Saints. Puck is shot down low, and Carlander with a redirect in the corner.
There's where Megan's really effective from her. Her strong stick can ice the puck, just like when she's in trap shooting. That's very interesting to you, Kevin. She's on our trap shooting team for the high school team.
Well, first of all, I didn't know that high school had a trap shooting team, so that's impressive.
Yeah, I don't know if it's fully sanctioned yet by the high school league, but I know she's got, and her brother Sean, who just graduated, was really big in that.
Wow.
So Park will try to relieve pressure again here. Leah Schrank out there for St. Louis Park on this kill, getting some help. And here's Kaler back to the far point. Kaler with a nice slap shot and beautiful top shelf over the glove. And I can see why Maddie Kaler is had a goal and 2 assists coming into the game. That'll give the junior her second goal of the year. And I didn't quite catch the number, but she really unloaded, Kevin, that slap shot in a quick manner. Beautiful power and speed, and she had a nice screen out front.
Just a bomb from the top of the left point, and Carlander, I took a wave at it. It goes right past the leather, ends up in the top corner, but knotted at a goal apiece. And like you said, for Wagner, or no, who was it? It was Kaler.
Kaler, right.
The bomb from just inside the blue line, just a nice shot, and it finds its way past, and we're knotted at a goal apiece.
So both teams are able to ink a power play goal early on. And for St. Louis Park, here's Basil as she gains the near wall and gains possession for St. Louis Park, being supported nicely by Brune Bryant on that sequence. And here's Molly Arnson out there again. You're going to see 2 lines most of the time. Brune Bryant on a backhand, and it's passed down low to Basil and just missed on the redirect. Jermusic back at the point for the Orioles with a nice wrister. And again, Brune Bryant almost able to knock that in, John.
Yeah, they're buzzing down there right now.
Really are smelling it. Here's Molly again with a pass out front to Anna. Oh, and she just misses high. One of the defenders for St. Francis gets a stick on it. Really nice sequence for the Orioles. Donnie must be pleased. Samantha Jermusic holds it in again for St. Louis Park, and all the Saints can do is relieve pressure. A partial change, but a possible Oriole break.
Exact response you'd want, too. After the momentum swing goes back in favor of St. Francis, they score on the power play. You see St. Louis Park applying the pressure there in the offensive zone and swinging that pendulum back in their direction. That's exactly what I think, like you said, the head coach would want to see from his gals, and that's exactly what he's getting.
Yeah, that first line came out hard.
I'm really impressed. This is the 3rd game I've had, John, and I'm really impressed with the I don't know if you call it the intestinal fortitude after losing their teammate, leading scorer, going through what they did on the ice in terms of watching her go down. And it seems like the coaches have obviously been able to redirect and refocus the girls' energy.
Absolutely.
So possible break here this time, and there's for Liddy on the draw. She's one of the 7th graders for St. Francis. Kevin and John, when I talked to Beth Keel, the head coach for St. Francis North Branch, yesterday, she not only mentioned they were the youngest team in the state, but she's got 4 7th graders on her top 3 lines.
Wow.
That's amazing. that just tells me, I mean, you know they're going to have that youthful exuberance coming out there anytime they touch the ice. But that also makes me wonder, what is this team going to look like in 3 or 4 years when they're just sophomores?
Yes. Right.
Yes.
Pretty amazing to know some of the girls might not even be teenagers yet, and they're already getting varsity minutes. Exactly. So nice redirect behind the net that time by Bullen. And here's Megan in the corner down low for the Orioles. Behrens, she chips at it hard, and she's ridden off the puck momentarily by Duville. Megan getting a lot of work on that left wing as well, John. We should mention they've got her pushing up sometimes as well as playing defense.
Yeah, Megan is pressing hard, and I'm sure they got the winger saying when Megan takes it up, someone cover back on D and let her get up there because she certainly is a scoring threat.
And another icing call to relieve some pressure by Duville and the Saints. Two sets of sisters on St. Francis. We got the Duville sisters, number 5 and 6. And forgive me, St. Francis North Branch fans, if I didn't pronounce that correctly, but I believe it's Duville. And then we also have the St. Marie sisters, Natalie, number 4, and Jessica. And of course, we did have the Basil sisters as well, too. Oh, a nice chance for Anna to redirect that pass by Lauren Brune-Bryant.
Great feet in front, just failed to click, but boy, what a nice little play there. It just failed to get the handle on it right at the last second.
Jermusik able to push it on up to Brune-Bryant, and the Orioles will try to run the forecheck down low, and this is Molly Arntzen who's able to corral that momentarily. Liddy brings it out for the Saints, but stolen away by Anna Basil, and Anna shoots just wide of the net. Basil, she's the junior for the Orioles with a goal and 2 assists coming into the game tonight. And here's Molly Arntzen, one of the smoothest skaters for the Orioles. Jermusik with a shot that's momentarily blocked down low by 23 St. Marie. And this is, excuse me, some of the numbers are a little different than what I saw here. St. Marie was able to shoot it in, and the Saints able to change on the fly here. Orioles with the 6:03 remaining in period 1. We're knotted at 1 here from the rec center. And St. Louis Park will finish their change again as St. Francis regroups in their own zone.
You notice Frommer Bridget Duffy's up on wing with Jermusik coming back, and she's being really effective up there. She's got a lot of energy on the right wing.
Yeah, and she's been one of the swing players, correct? She's been playing some forward, and Donnie's been moving her back to defense during the year, right?
That is correct, yep.
So, and she's just a 9th grader for St. Louis Park. Here's one of the young guns for the Orioles, Sophia Kiefer behind the net for St. Louis Park. Oh, and she gets a chance on a redirect, not able to convert that time. St. Francis really having a lot of problems just breaking out of their own zone. And here's Megan Behrens with a shot that's momentarily stopped and redirected down low by 16 Kaler for the Saints.
That chance for Kiefer right there, right in front of the blue paint. The puck just bounces out. She takes a swing at it, whiffs, but not her fault. Couldn't get a handle because the puck was bouncing, fluttering around there right in front of the goaltender. But, oh, boy, it's just too bad. You see an opportunity like that, you like to see a little wood put on that rubber.
I know, Kevin. They've been pressuring. They really look good on the forecheck. They're down there. What they got to make sure they're doing here is getting their opportunities and finishing. They're coming in front, and hopefully the opportunities keep coming, and they bury that biscuit.
Rose wins the draw that time, Eva, and a nice backhand shot attempt that time on net that's frozen by the Saints. And here's Eva Rose, number 3, on another draw for St. Louis Park against the 7th grader for Liddy. For Liddy, a young lady who's got some growing up to do. You can see she's got some size that she'll eventually put on her, I'm sure. And she's thrown out and that's Sophia Zebro who takes the draw for the Saints.
She's one of those, if she wasn't wearing skates, you'd wonder if she'd walk over the bottom of her jersey, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, and a puck is momentarily lost to their own zone, and Leah Schrank almost had a golden opportunity to put the Orioles on top.
Huge turnover right between the circles, and she was right there, got a chance to get the shot on net, just went wide.
Rose steals that pass from Duville back to Cunningham, who shoots it down back to the point for Vig, and Natalie able to hold that in. And one of the Duville sisters trying to break it out for the Saints without success.
Penalty
and
on St. Francis still coming.
And here's Megan. Oh, she fans momentarily on it. Orioles have an extra skater until the Saints can touch up. So at the 4:22 mark of the first period, St. Louis Park will try to go 2 for 2 on the power play and capitalize again.
Unfortunately, Megan took a penalty late.
Did Megan take that one late?
Probably a little bit undisciplined penalty there. We had a power play coming, and at the end, when the girl got the puck from her, I think a little frustration, Megan took a little shot up high and got the call for it, so it'll be 4-on-4.
I think it was...
Or maybe 5-on-5, because it's not coincidental.
Yeah, and that's too bad because Douville got the original minor for the Saints, and Megan, I don't think the initial contact was what was called on her. I think it was the follow-up.
The retaliatory thing, yep.
Right. Isn't that the way it is usually too, right?
Yeah, and that's too bad because there was a power play looming out there, and both goals coming on the power play thus far, one for each squad. And so obviously those are going to be very valuable here the way this game is going. And unfortunately right there at the very end, she'll go to the box, and it'll be, I guess we're going 5-on-5.
And for those of you who are just tuning into this game tonight, that's a very familiar face for all hockey, or familiar voice for all hockey fans in Minnesota. We're really honored tonight to be joined by Kevin Fallness, the voice of the Wild, who also happens to be a St. Louis Park graduate.
One of the voices, first of all. One of the voices. Bob Kurtz, I bow to Bob Kurtz and Tom Reed, but one of the voices. I appreciate you guys giving me something to do. Thanks to the labor strife in the National Hockey League, I'm doing a lot of staring at my children, which is fun, but I don't think they appreciate it. It gets me out of the house.
Well, and I had a chance the other night. I know Pete Wagner was here with Minnesota Hockey Center, and I think you stopped by and you had your 2-year-old and your 9-month-year-old, did you not? And that was your hands full.
Yeah, and that's just the life the way it is. My wife is actually in school as we speak too, taking some classes, so I try to give her some time as much as possible, and it's every day's an adventure, believe me. The Mr. Mom thing ain't all it's cracked up to be. We're having some fun.
Here's Anderson with a 2-on-1. She's got it over Sigfrinius, puts it on net, and Carlander able to push that off to the corner. So a 2-on-1 break didn't materialize for anything for the Saints that time. For Sigfrinius, and St. Louis Park will also try to regroup and change here. Here's number 4 breaking down. That's Douville, for them. That was St. Marie. Kevin, I'm not in regular season mode either, so that's
believe
all right.
Me. Yeah, I think you're doing spectacular. This has been a lot of fun to listen to. Nice work.
Yeah, it's really enjoyable. And for the Saints, down low, pushed in again, and here's Sophia Noreen behind her own net, and she's going to try to break that out for St. Louis Park. Noreen on the weak side, and I believe that's passed on over to Leah Schrank, and a beautiful catch. Schrank with a 1-on-1. She goes left. She goes right to the backhand. Oh, man. Beautiful. Leah Schrank almost. And that puck went in, but he had blown the whistle. Beautiful on Leah Schrank, not only catching that pass. I don't know, Paul, if we can go to the replay on that, but she did a nice job receiving that pass at her own blue line, broke it on up. I think everybody in the house thought she was going to go left towards the boards, but she broke it to the center on her backhand and almost put that by. So little technical difficulties on the replay, but anyway, nice job by Leah Schrank there.
Kevin, I got to tell you, all the broadcasters and press people that come out of St. Louis Park, it's got to be in the water, from Tom Friedman, who writes for the New York Times, to
the Passel,
to the Passels, to Mark Rosen, to yourself. It's there's something in the water that gets into the media.
I really don't know what to recommend to anybody. I'll tell you the one thing that St. Louis Park at least had going for it. I don't know if it still is. Again, I'm 20-some years removed from high school, but the media thing that they had down there with the radio station, KDXL and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And Pete Peterson, I believe, was the instructor that I had at the time. To me, I think that was the springboard for a lot of folks that I know that came out of St. Louis Park and went into media in some form or fashion, because it gives you that base of knowledge that you can't get in the real world without actually doing it.
And here's Catherine Evans, goes to the backhand, and a nice job and a nice save that time. Bridget Duffy trying to follow that up for the Orioles. And relating to what you said, when I was in high school at Park, I was on KDXL as well, and Pete Peterson was one of the advisors. And hopefully that's a resource they can get back to using more, because I totally agree with what you're saying there. And then having the cable system as well, too. St. Francis on a break this time. Oh, and the puck is shot right out front. That's number 11 for them.
Wagner,
apologize on that.
Their leading scorer, 3 goals coming in here. Also their leading penalty getter with 15 minutes in penalties. So that's definitely a person to be watching, because she's got some moves and obviously has some speed, as was evidence right there.
That's Callie Wagner Mr. Fallness is talking about there. Barons, with under a minute remaining in the first period, we're still knotted at 1. Both teams skating at full strength here, and Megan Behrens will try to break that out for the Orioles and work with her defensive partner, Noreen. Noreen up the near wall to Basil, and she crosses it to relieve pressure, and St. Marie able to corral that towards center ice and redirect it on her own. So only about 30 seconds remaining in period 1 here from the rec center. We encourage everybody to stay with us after the break, as we're going to have a nice interview with Elena Basil, one of the Orioles leading scorer, who's going to join us and talk about some things that are going on. So stay with us. It's number 9 that time. That's Swanson that for St. Francis pushes it out front to Downey. But St. Louis Park able to corral that and break the other way. Oh, and an offside whistled with under 10 seconds remaining in the first period.
You know, Farmer, you talked about growing up here in high school. Now, for you, that was a little further back than Kevin. But I'll tell you, what a small world. And you guys know I've lived here since '91, and I love the community. But me and Farmer were talking before the game, and he's very good friends with Todd Treathart, one of my good friends, and of course, friends with the whole family growing up, from Brian and Sue Treathart, and just a wonderful family in St. Louis Park, and just that whole block you talked about, where your grandma grew up. It's just a
right
nice,
on Webster, yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice nice community.
Webster, that's where you're from, over in that area?
Well, I grew up on Cavell, but my grandma was on Webster, over by the roller garden.
Well, yeah, my folks, I mean, not to get too technical, I mean, my folks are 28th in Yosemite. I'm in that general area, so I know the roller gardens real well.
Yeah, you certainly do. Well, and we should mention, too, before, I know we're going to have you after the second period talk a little bit about your background, not only at St. Louis Park with what you do, but really some excitement relating to the St. Louis Park hockey community this week, as Oriole fans just found out that a longtime head hockey coach, John Barger, who you know very well from your days at St. Louis Park, was just inducted into the Minnesota High School Hockey Coaches Association.
I don't know him well. I know the name well, and you know, I mean, obviously, what a great honor. I mean, I think people think about Edina and Minnetonka and some of the other places in and around the Twin Cities metro area when you think of, you know, the rich history that goes on. St. Louis Park has a pretty decent history as well. It isn't overflowing with championship banners, but it still has a pretty decent history that goes back quite a ways, and Coach Barger's just right in the middle of all of that.
Yeah, and I know you were really involved back then in the early 90s. I remember Jake Evers, who's one of the assistants out here. There were some great teams in 91, 92, 92, 93. I think Park was runners-up in the conference those couple of those years too. Yeah.
What I remember about those days was, you know, how we were able to compete with Edina and Minnetonka. It fell off a little bit after my class graduated. I mean, I wasn't a varsity player. I was in the broadcast booth even back then, and I would like to watch. But you talk about the young kids that are out there right now. When I was a senior in high school, at that point in time, Eric Rasmussen was an 8th grader. He was playing on the varsity team at that point in time.
Yeah.
That's when that was the heyday, at least in my time frame. A kid that ended up being drafted in the first round by the Buffalo Sabres, and at this point is retired, to show you how old I am. But, you know, just another example of where St. Louis Park hockey was, at least at that point in time.
Well, and if I remember right, I think you were the year that Andy Neudecker graduated too. And talk about a young man who's given a lot back to the community. Andy's the vice president of St. Louis Park Youth Hockey, and we see him at a lot of these games, and he's a great person.
Yeah, you know, him and his brother. I'm very close to both of them, and I very much enjoy giving them grief more than anything. But yeah, you know, Neudecker is great, and I know that he loves this community. Has a couple of 3, 4, 8 kids running around here half the time too. So yeah, great guy, great family.
He's got Bauer and Blake who will be on the horizon wearing the orange and black sweaters.
And little Braden too. I think he's got at least 3. Right. I lose count.
You know, Andy's been great for this hockey association, great for this community. He's got such a passion for the game. And, you know, he's done so much that people just don't know, you know, behind the scenes. So Elena's working her way down here, keeps getting stopped, but here she comes right now, grabbing a quick drink, and she'll be right with you guys, and I'll get off.
Do you want to talk? I can get off if you want to talk.
You guys interview her. Believe me, I talk to her enough around the house.
I think maybe it's our job, Kevin. We're a little undercover work here. We can try to find out any little things we can use in the future. You know what? We're going to stay with it just for a second, Paul, if that's okay. And we're joined by freshman Elena Basil. Elena, can you hear us okay on the headset?
Yeah, kind of.
Hi, Elena. Kevin Fallness. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Kevin is one of the voices of the Minnesota Wild, but he also went to St. Louis Park, so we're honored to have him back today. And it's great to see you. You've got your Basil letter jacket. You got your headset on. Media might be in your future. What do you think about wearing that headset?
It's kind of big.
Maybe we should switch you up and have one of the other headsets. Well, tell us a little bit about. I wanted to say first of all, we're so glad to see you here after last week and what happened. You look fantastic. Your eyes are clear. How are you feeling?
Better than I was, you know.
Right.
What has the last week been like? In working with the NHL guys, Pierre-Marc Bouchard, Brent Burns, guys like that, I know you're right there in their class of player, but when you talk about, you know, the head trauma and stuff like that, it gets pretty scary. You talk about the bright lights, you got to stay away from TV. Were you in that type of frame over the last week?
Yeah, I wasn't supposed to. I could watch TV, but if it started to hurt, you know, back away. Yeah.
Well, I think all the people listening want to know, has it curtailed at all your desire to chase boys at all? Or let them chase you, right? Okay, we won't go there. But you're really involved in a lot of other things besides hockey, right? Soccer, lacrosse.
Yeah.
And tell the fans listening, we haven't touched on this, Kevin, and I don't know if we visited with it before, but you got a great experience in the Basil House this year. You've got a Finnish exchange student named Jesper living with you. I assume he's a sophomore. Tell us a little bit about what that's been like learning.
He's really fun. Like, he's just fun to be with. He does magic tricks a lot, and those are pretty awesome. So
I'll tell you, when I was growing up, we had 2 exchange students my age at the time when I was, I think, a freshman. We had both from Ireland, and it was really neat to have them come in and you know, kind of just be a part of our family. Are you guys trying to show him what being a Minnesotan's all about, and he's trying to bring a little of that Finnish heritage to you guys as well?
Yeah, he likes it here a lot, and he just, I don't know, he's pretty much my older brother, I guess I could say.
How long is he here for?
Until June 20th.
When did he get here?
When did he get here?
First week of September, something like that?
September.
Yeah, I remember your dad coming into our Blue Line Club meeting to tell us what was going on, and we really are appreciative of your mom and dad for being able to house him as well, too.
Let me ask you this. Now, he's come here. I think it's only natural then you get to travel to Finland to do a visit in reverse, right?
Yeah, most
Take the whole family there? You know, I mean, that'd be kind of nice.
Well, Elena, we just wanted you to know that everybody in the St. Louis Park community is behind you. You're a great hockey player, but more than that, you're a really nice young lady. And I wanted to congratulate you and the girls program, as well as your mom and dad, for the new locker room the girls have.
Yeah.
After all of these years, Kevin, in the last couple weeks, Donnie and all the parents, tell us about your new home downstairs.
I love it. It is awesome. The new stalls that all the parents did, is very thankful for that, because they're awesome, and it's just a good change.
And you've got your own little place to call home and your own little environment to enjoy.
Explain to me, I haven't seen it, but I've heard some pretty amazing things from your dad and talking to some of the other boosters. What are some of the things that have changed that in form of the upgrades? What has happened?
It's a little bit bigger. We soundproofed it, which is nice, because our other one wasn't. And the stalls are really, really, really nice. So
real neat.
And it's nice for Donnie to have that soundproofing in case. I'm sure he would never raise his voice in a harsh manner, but for you girls when you're having fun down there.
Yeah.
Well, you take care of yourself, be happy, be healthy, and just remember there's a lot of kids in the community that are here to support you, and a lot of us have gone through similar things, so just know that as well, Elena. And it's great, really great to see the young girls getting a chance to play. Catherine Evans getting a chance to play a little more. And
what'd you think of that first period?
Yeah.
I thought our goal was pretty awesome. Just gotta keep working. They're a good competitive team, so just stay with them.
Stay out of the box, right?
Yeah.
Well, we're going to step away for about 2 minutes here, but stay with us on Park 16. And thanks again to Elena Basil. And come right back and join us here on 16 momentarily.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Elena.
For others, it may have just been a summer job. But for me, it was training. Now I'm an Air Force pararescueman, and my job is to save lives. Make the right choices today, and be ready for the challenges tomorrow. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
All right, we're back to begin the second period here at the Rec Center as the Orioles are knotted 1-1 with the Fighting Saints from St. Francis / the North Branch Vikings. So I don't know if we should call them the Fighting Saints Vikings. Well, either way. John Fromm joined again by Kevin Fallness and John Basil. Before we get started with the second period, I just wanted to make an announcement. St. Louis Park Cable is proud to offer a new service. They're going to have what's called the HD Game of the Month, which is now debuting on Comcast. It's part of the on-demand lineup there that you can access with your DVR through your remote. And what they've chosen this much, Kevin and John, is really one of the best events St. Louis Park's had in recent memory. Last week, St. Louis Park hosted Apple Valley in boys basketball, which of course has Tyus Jones, the #1 recruit in the nation as a junior. Even though the outcome wasn't what the Orioles wanted, that's going to be the game of the month for the next 4 weeks, it sounds like. So if you want to get a chance to watch Tyus Jones battle against Kashif Hayes, DJ Pollard, and the Orioles, you can access that, and they'll rotate month by month, and the young man who will make those decisions on which is the game of the month is no other than our director, Paul Broden. So gifts and compliments.
Does he have an email address or a home address where you can swing on by?
Yeah, I don't know if he has any stalkers yet, but we could certainly encourage that. Get your game. And anyway, and then also if you wanted to order a copy of tonight's game or any game, you can call 952-924-2635 or visit parktv.org. You guys, the other day I was on parktv.org just to access some of the video on demand that we have through St. Louis Park. They almost have 250 different events on there now. So besides all the sporting events you see, you've got 2 years worth of city council meetings, you've got, the plays and concerts in the summer, etc. And I know, John, with your work with Discover St. Louis Park, I know that's something you can utilize and have when you had your opening last year.
Absolutely. Oh, to have this community TV, we were talking a little bit earlier about how good of a community is and how tight of a community is. And the community TV just adds so much value to that and to the community. And, I'm around town. I got young kids. I'm at different people's houses, and you can see people watching things about St. Louis Park kids and kids in St. Louis Park. And they like to see their neighbors and their kids that they're going to school with on TV right here, right in their own homes, right here in St. Louis Park. So the community access is absolutely a wonderful attribute that this city has.
We didn't get into, if you take a look at the Orioles bench, that's Donnie Williams. You can see a little bit of the top of his bald head there on top. Donnie won't mind me saying that since I'm also follically challenged a little bit.
I was going to say, I don't know Donnie, but I'm sure he really appreciates you pointing out. Look at the coach is balding.
Yeah. You can see the top of that, a little light glaze over the black helmet. That's Jake Evers and Alec Rabine on the coaching staff there. Jake's a 93 grad. I know Alec and Josh Swartout, also another coach. Another great thing about the girls program here, all the coaches are St. Louis Park grads. They all came back. They're not doing this for the money because there's not a lot of zeros attached to their paychecks. But I know my son is a goalie for the high school, and Donnie was his goalie coach for several years, and then 9th and 10th grade. And
came out and watched your son on Saturday. I think it was Saturday, right? When they played? Or was it Tuesday?
Tuesday.
Yeah. That
was
was a heck of a game. And I didn't know your son, but he's a tall drink of water. He held the fort pretty well. I didn't know what they were up against when you talk about the Hopkins team coming here.
Right.
But to lose 2-1, I think there's something to be said about the fact that they not only kept it close, I mean, they were in that thing to the end.
Yeah, and Frommer and Nets had a real nice game. He was very solid. Talking about holding the fort, he really did hold the fort. It was a 2-1 game because of his great performance. They were 1 second away from tying that game up. Yeah. They scored a second after the final buzzer went. Otherwise, they would have went into overtime.
That's the craziest end of a game I've ever seen. If the ref blows his whistle a half a second before and you've got 2 ticks on the clock,
right?
Then TJ Halfin, who knocks in the rebound off of Miles Malarkey's shot. Just an amazing end of that game. I know we didn't do that on cable, but Pete Wagner did it through Minnesota Hockey Center. It's amazing nowadays, you guys, how many different high school hockey games as well as basketball are now covered with the advent of the internet and all the technology.
The internet stuff has exploded. I mean, over the course of even the last it'd be too easy, too broad to say over the course of the last decade. I mean, I'm talking over the last 3 years, probably, maybe even less than that. It just seems like exponentially, if you want to find a game on any given day, you can find one. Doesn't necessarily have to be in your backyard, but you can find one across the globe via the wonders that is the internet. It's incredible.
As we get ready to drop the puck,
except in the NHL.
we haven't gone there at all yet. That's what the second intermission's for right now. Molly Arnson will take the draw to start the second period against Jessica St. Marie for the Saints Vikings. Both teams are knotted at one as they exchange power play goals in the first period. Megan Behrens getting the Oriole power play goal. We got a takedown for 2 points there as we lost one of the officials. And what happened there? I turned away.
Well, Molly was going hard for the puck, and the official just kind of was in the wrong spot, and Molly went right through the official.
Well, good for her. It's always better to go in a straight line. It gets you there quicker. If you just joined us, we're 1-1 early in the second period here, as the St. Francis / North Branch Vikings are in town for a conference game. First conference game for St. Francis as well. And here's a nice break for them, as this is Wagner who puts a nice shot on net. She's the leading scorer for St. Francis, Callie Wagner. She's got 5 goals already on the year for them, and I know you mentioned her in the first period, Kevin.
Yeah, I mean, she showed some of that, the signs of why she is their leading goal scorer, because she's obviously got some moves. We just saw it again right there, and I'm sure that they're going to be leaning heavily upon her. If this St. Francis team wants to stay with it, they're going to need some production from her.
It was Swanson over to Downey to Sigfrinius, who attempted that shot on net, and it went off the stick of Megan Behrens and into the corner. But a nice job holding that time by Downey. Interesting what Beth Keel might have told her girls after the first period. I kind of felt like they were a little bit too much on their heels from the St. Francis point of view, and it looks like they're coming out with a little more fire.
Yeah, I mean, in talking about St. Louis Park, if I'm in their locker room, I'm saying do everything exactly the same, except don't take any more penalties. Beyond that, I mean, I think they're pretty happy. But you're right. The one thing that, if I'm talking to the St. Francis girls, I'm saying get on your horses and push the play, because they have been back on the wheels, and I think that's what's cost them here. Right.
And we should mention, Kevin and John, I had to take a chance to break down some of the stats before the game. The second period has been the bugaboo definitively for both of these teams this year. St. Francis has been outscored by almost 15 goals in the second period, something like that. And the Orioles also have been outscored 14-4 on the season. So it's probably not a stretch to say whoever wins this second period is probably going to win the game. So here's Vig holding in it for St. Louis Park to the 8th grader, Catherine Evans. And nice to see her firing it into the corner.
Yeah, she's got a lot of legs and a lot of spunk out on that ice. I tell you, she's been very impressive when she's got in the lineup.
And she's, and I know beforehand, if there really wasn't a place for her to play this year, and I know getting all that practice time the last month and now getting a lot of game action should really help her next year too.
Yes.
So here's one half of the Duville sisters trying to break it out. Oh, and a nice steal on a redirect, and that's 14 Kiefer for St. Louis Park, who almost lights the lamp for the Orioles. And we are going to have a high sticking penalty, I believe, whistled here. Not sure if that's Kiefer who's getting the gate.
I tell you, Kiefer was denied up close and personal there by the goaltender, but the rebound came all the way back to the point, and Noreen had a nice chance there at a wide open shot. Just missed the cage, but a couple of real good back-to-back chances by both Kiefer and Noreen.
And Noreen can shoot the puck from the point.
Sure can.
When she puts it on net, both her and Megan have very, very hard shots.
That was a good shot that she had.
And number 10, Sophia Zebro, getting the gate for St. Francis at the 14-17 mark. So the Orioles, who had 1 goal in the first period on the power play, will try to forge ahead here early in the second.
Had their second power play thwarted at the end there by an offsetting minor, so they've only had 1 power play to this point, cashed in on it, and in a game that's tied at a goal apiece, it was a pretty significant goal. So another chance here with a man advantage.
Arnson with great speed and strength pushes it up the near wall, and unfortunately her line mate Brune Bryant not able to hang on to that, and Behrens will have to regroup in the Orioles zone.
Yeah, you want to make those passes on the power play stick to stick and move the puck as quick as you can and open up some ice.
Really beautiful to watch Molly Arnson with speed gain the zone for St. Louis Park. Arnson, the junior, corrals it, goes behind the net and tries to direct it right out front. Here's Megan Behrens with a wrister right on net. Shot and a rebound and a nice cover up that time by Bullen, as there's 2 sequences there. The original shot by Behrens was a nice low almost a snapshot that went on net as Arnson shovels it out front. Then it's passed out and Megan Barron steals it. And I'm not sure, was that Sophia that got the rebound attempt? But 2 shots anyway.
I tell you, we're not going to pick a star of the game 2.5 minutes into the second period, but if we did, the goaltender for St. Francis has been outstanding thus far.
Yeah.
That's the reason why they're still in this thing, because she's been under siege.
She has. That's Dakota Bullen, the senior. She came into the game with, what, an .850 save percentage, but sometimes that's a misleading stat because you don't know the quality of shots she's seeing, right? So Orioles are able to get a partial change in, but Megan Barron stays out there to man the point for them. And here's Megan, the senior captain. Momentarily knocked off the puck by Downey, who goes crashing into her own boards hard. Here's Downey again with a nice Pele invitation as she kicks it ahead on the ice and is pushed on over to Lauren Brune-Bryant. She's got your music with her and a nice screen by Samantha. And Brune-Bryant not able to capitalize, but a wrister on net and a follow-up sequence and then a third attempt.
They got another one now. St. Francis got another penalty. As long as we don't retaliate, we should be okay here.
Beautiful sequence again. 3 more shots on net, Kevin and John.
Yeah, and this is going to be a perfect timing for them. They're going to get a face-off down deep in St. Francis's zone. It'll be an 8-second 5-on-3 advantage. So this is a nice opportunity here for this team to build upon this momentum and get one back behind the goaltender. That's something they definitely got to get going.
And here comes their power play unit onto the ice.
And we just took, St. Louis Park just took the best defensewoman out of the game for St. Francis in Maddie Kaler, who's their leading scorer on the blue line, gets that high sticking penalty. So the 2-man advantage is for not now, but 1:50 remaining in another power play for St. Louis Park as they pump 5 or 6 shots out in that first 2 minutes, guys, and we'll see what they can do here. Here's Arnson again with speed, tries to drop pass at that time to Basil. Basil with a right-hand shot, goes to her forehand and just misses the far side of the net. She went backhand to forehand and just missed that far side. Nice job winning a battle on the sidewall there, and that's Sigfrinius. And again, I apologize if I'm not pronouncing that correctly, but there's so many I's and U's, I'm not used to the vowel pronunciation. Shot down low that time. A little over a minute remaining in the power play. We're still knotted at 1 here, and a possible breakaway for St. Francis if they can get the puck ahead. Oh, they just missed. That was Sigfrinius again, who was coming off on a change, but there was nobody, Kevin, within 40 feet.
She had a lawn chair. She was waiting for that pass, everything but a strobe light saying, I'm open. They finally throw it off side to side and stopped at the end boards.
Okay, yep. And yeah, and she was dead tired at the end of the change there, so she was waiting for that to happen. Here's Sophia for St. Louis Park, bringing it up the near wall. Noreen. Puck is stolen away momentarily by number 11 for them. That's, oh, I'm sorry, that's Wagner again. And a nice headman pass up to Leah Schrank, and she gains the zone with speed for them. Schrank for St. Louis Park, able to gain the zone behind the net, pushed out to the side, and another shot on net. And that one as well is steered away by Bullen. Puck is pushed down in the corner, and Jermusik, Samantha, the sophomore, goes to her forehand and works down low behind her own net. Puck is shot out to the corner, but not able to be held in by Rose, and a nice takeaway possibility here by St. Francis, and indeed it is. And a shot, oh, and a nice job by Cunningham to get a stick on that, as I believe that was 23 St. Marie, who had almost an unmolested attempt at a goal there.
Yeah, I think Natalie Vick's going to have to buy Cunningham lunch. A great back check on that one. Pick up the forechecker and the break they had.
Yeah, absolutely. So the power play is over for St. Louis Park. A nice kill for St. Francis as both teams finish their change here. Just under 10 minutes remaining in the second period, and here's Brune-Bryant trying to corral a loose puck right in front of her net, and Arnson, she's able to get the rebound, push it on net, held again, and here's Barons back to the point with the wrister, just pushed wide. Just a scrum in front. If we had a football like in rugby, I don't know who would win control of that.
Again, that was 3 legitimate great saves by Bullen that really keeping St. Louis Park at bay. You talked about them killing the penalties. I mean, basically it was back-to-back penalties. It was almost 4 straight minutes of power play action there for the Orioles. And I don't know that they got more than 2-3 decent shots on net. So credit the penalty kill unit there for St. Francis.
Yeah, absolutely. We mentioned that Boulin had played every minute of the season in net for St. Francis, and you can tell she's seen a lot of shots during the year. She uses that blocker to push that one off to the side. And a nice follow-up by Catherine Evans with speed. You mentioned her earlier, John, and she went hard on that sequence as well. Evans again on that far wall. Behrens will try to hold that in, but unfortunately she's not able to do so. The Saints will come back with speed on their end. And here's number 9 for them, Swanson. Everything bunched up on the near wall in St. Louis Park with another attempt at a shot. I'm not sure, I didn't catch the number of that young lady who shot it.
Bridget Duffy.
We don't have that problem with men's hockey or the NHL. I'm not normally blocked by the hair in front of the jersey number. And that's all, you know, with my lack of hair, I'm always jealous of these ladies that have so much of it as well anyway. So here's Catherine Evans off the draw. And here's Kiefer behind her net. Sophia Kiefer in that third line. Really getting a lot of reps today, John.
They are.
Much more skating time. And I should share a funny story with you after the Matamidi game. Donnie and I walked out to the parking lot together, and I was talking to him, and he said, Cromer, we're going to get in way better shape. We're going to be the best shape of any team we play this year. I'm going to skate these girls so hard the next 9 days, but if we can get through that, we're going to be ready to roll the next 2 months. So.
Yeah, and it's very important, especially on the girls' side. You know, you even look at the Class A, Class AA when you get to the state tournament. A lot of those teams, you know, they're going 10 girls, and they're going 10 girls very hard. And of course, you want all your lines to be able to play, but you also always want them to be in good shape too.
Evans with a nice job stealing that puck on the near wall and working it down low. She's really a scrapper out there, Catherine Evans. And here on a change, a possible breakaway, just skips over the stick. And Carlander able to hold on to that. Number 25, Anderson on the long change. We talked about the difference in goals that each teams have given up in the second period, the huge differentiation. This is what they call the long change second period, Kevin, and why don't you talk a little bit about what that is to some of our viewers?
Long change meaning having to go to the opposite end of the ice. Yeah, well, basically what that is because when you're playing on the other end of the ice, we've got the park goaltender down here to our broadcast left, whereas the bench is on the far right. So to make those changes, it's a little bit more of a dilemma as opposed to the first and third period where the changes are a little bit more easily accessible.
And as being an old goaltender, I tell you, the long change, the second period, it's always tough because you see your D trying to get off the ice.
Right.
And, of course, they can't because they got the long change. You see how tired they are. So, you know, you try to get a whistle for them when you can if you're bottled up. But on the flip side, oftentimes they can, and you see your D go, and you're going, okay, here comes a 2-on-1. So definitely in the second period, you'll see more odd man rushes because of the long change. You'll see more 3-on-2s,
right.
2-on-1s. Just natural because of when the D need to change.
And there's a nice wrister right off the face-off win that time by St. Francis, and it redirect out front, and the puck is knocked in that time. 23, Jessica St. Marie is able to knock that in off the rebound. I did not catch the number of the young lady behind the net who passed it out in front to her, but a nice face-off win, and that puck was shot down low by Natalie St. Marie, and puck brought around in front, and Holly Anderson brought it out front, and Jessica St. Marie, Natalie's sister, scores at the 7:19 mark. And one of the assists goes to her sister, and then the other one to Holly Anderson to put the Saints out front.
And that's going to hold true to form. That's going to be a power play goal because the Orioles were in the box with a 2-minute minor, and that all 3 goals to this point, 2 of them by St. Francis, 1 of them by the Orioles, have all been scored with a man advantage. So again, it shows that the special teams are playing a real valuable role for both teams in this game so far.
Great point, great point. So under 7 minutes remain in the second period, and although St. Louis Parks had a decided advantage in shots and time of possession so far, one sequence is all it took for the Saints/Vikings to come down and tie her up. Or go ahead, excuse me.
I'll tell you, and I don't know if you guys agree, but I feel like since St. Francis was able to kill off those back-to-back penalties and those back-to-back power plays for St. Louis Park, it seems like they've been able to shift the momentum a little bit back in their favor. Now here they take that 2-1 lead. Now it's going to be up to Park to be able to try to take it back the other direction and try to force feed it into St. Francis, because we know they've got the horses. Now it's a matter of picking up their dauber and taking it into the other zone.
Great.
Yeah, and I tell you, when the first line's been out there for Park, they've kept it down there the entire time, but they've just haven't been able to get it past the goal line. They've had a lot of opportunities, and again, credit to the St. Francis goalie. She's had a lot of traffic, a lot of shots, and she's been able to withstand it all.
This is Downey out there with Swanson for St. Francis. Downey shoots it in on almost reaches on net, and here's Duville who pushes it down low as well, and this is Sophia Noreen who picks it up for St. Louis Park and just headmans it. Unfortunately, there's nobody home, and it heads all the way down to the far side. Here's Kaler for St. Francis. She'll try to break it up, but another nice job on the pinch down by the forward there, as Schrank able to hold it in momentarily. Kaler with some speed up the right side, and the captain, who's only a junior for St. Francis, with speed going to her forehand there. And she's able to redirect it towards Carlander, but St. Louis Park is able to gain possession and try to work it out themselves. Saints complete a change, and it's one of the Duville sisters that comes in and pushes it down low. 5:28 remaining in the second period here. 2-1 the Saints in front of the Orioles, and Catherine Evans almost able to get a Christmas present a little early there, excuse me, a holiday present. Is almost a turnover, and she's able to take part. Jermusic behind her own net into the corner there. Nice battle as the players wedge against the wall tightly. One of the youngsters out there. Whoa, we've got a scrum behind the net here. Samantha Jermusic, some good contact. They're able to work it on her backhand up the near wall and out of the zone.
Samantha Jermusic is a real nice pickup for the Orioles, coming in, transferring in from Hill Murray this year. She's very strong on the D, and you could see her fight off 2 one-on-one battles she won there.
And here's for Liddy, one of the 7th graders, tripped up momentarily, and her line mate Lexi Smith is able to bang it on in there. We mentioned St. Francis top 3 lines don't have a senior on them, so there's a lot to look forward to for them in the future. Here's Kiefer down low for St. Louis Park. Right out front, Evans the backhand. Catherine Evans not able to get that thing through, but she sure attempted to as well. And the puck bounces on through like a chopper 2 hopper in baseball there. It bounces all the way through. Behrens with nice speed, able to turn and redirect that time. And here's Kiefer with speed. But a nice takeaway that time in center ice. Not a lot of stoppages here, as we've had a nice sequence of offense for both teams. And I'm really impressed by how Park's putting their 3rd unit out there so often today and really balancing things. Possible break this time for St. Francis, as they are able to hold in, and I think we've got to have a penalty here on a hook.
Another penalty on the Orioles, yep.
So at the 3:50 mark of the second period, St. Francis, Kevin, who's already notched a couple of power play goals, is going to get another one here. Let's see if we can spot it. Boy.
Well, again, I didn't see much there.
I don't know if you guys are familiar with Claude Rains, who was the Invisible Man back in the 1930s, but that might have been the Invisible Man. I did not see that. Okay. I don't have to be politically correct.
No,
we're not on the Wild broadcast.
No, exactly. You guys are dads. Are you kidding me? If you have a reason to be
yeah, they got one now. They got one to even it up by a great Molly Arnston with her speed. She's by far the best skater on the club, and she went down there hard, and she could have walked that puck right out. Good defensive penalty on their side, but it was all created by Molly's speed on that play.
So only 14 seconds of power play is neutralized there. So just what the doctor ordered for the Orioles, and we've got some exciting 4-on-4 open hockey in front of us here. Arnson on the draw for Park. Vig back at the blue line, as well as Behrens for her. Here's Natalie Vig, 15, adorned in her orange and black striped socks. Behrens with speed behind the net. She's really tough to contain and hold down with her strength and speed as a senior. And here's Duville going to her forehand, able to break it out this time. And she's able to get a nice pass up to Sigfrinius. Sigfrinius going forehand. Oh, she just missed the net. I thought momentarily she might go backhand there, but Carlander able to equal to the task there.
Sigfrinius came with a lot of speed down that right wing, and a nice little poke check by Carlander to help break that thing up.
And here's a potential shot on it. Oh, it just goes wide.
Noreen, the shot there from the right point, made it all the way through. Pad save. in deep by Bullen.
And here's Brune Bryan as she tries to launch a laser wrist shot, follows that wrister. A nice high blocker save that time and a push out there. And on the redirect, Sigfrinius had a 1-on-3, but she's able to do just what the doctor ordered, push it down low and complete the change for St. Francis. Eva Rose on the near side just caroms it off the glass, and I think we're going to have an icing whistled at the 2:17 mark. No, it is waved off. Okay. Joined momentarily by a couple of St. Louis Park's finest on the side. Kyle Fromm and Jeff Rounds. Enjoy having you gentlemen here. Here's Duville behind the net. The right-handed shot working down low, being harassed by Jermusic, and a one-time slapper is able to be directed into the corner. That was Kaler with some power on that shot. Anderson out there as well for St. Francis. Oh, and a steal, and here's Basil up the right side. Forced behind the net with speed out front, and she passes it to Schrank. She somehow got it through the legs to Leah Schrank, but Leah could not redirect it towards the net. Here's Noreen, and she's able to push it down low as well. And here's Kaler for St. Francis.
Good job by Basil getting that puck on net, because that's what set up those couple of real good opportunities up close and personals, because she threw that puck out in front of the net from behind the net, put it into that prime real estate. It didn't happen, didn't end up as a goal, but still set up nicely by Basil.
And John, I'm sure that's what you've taught the girls, and the potential for her possibly to stuff it in behind the net there too. Kind of cut off. So here's Behrens with a nice 360, and she's able to work it up the near wall there. Boy, putting about 4 or 5 moves on and then redirecting a pass on her back end. That was a nice hockey sequence right there, boy.
Megan's very strong.
Yeah. Oh, and there's a possible turnover, unfortunately, as that was Swanson able to momentarily ride that off. Only 35 seconds remain in the second period as Morris Cunningham and the Orioles will try to hang 2-1 here. Possible 2-on-1 and a nice sequence down low, and they keep banging on it, and Carlander able to belly flop on that, and Megan Barron says, not so fast, young lady. You're in the Oriole village.
That's one that was bouncing right by her goal crease, and you could have saw some daylight there back in the 5-hole. If she, just a momentary lapse there, easily could have found the back of the net, but she is able to jump on it, and a nice save by Carlander to keep this a 2-1 deficit for the Orioles.
Just 27 seconds remain, and off the face-off win, Downey then loses the puck, and Duville able to break it for the Saints in her own zone. Duville tries to work it up the far wall, and she passes it. Possible 2-on-1 break here for St. Francis. Schrank is able to get back, and we've got a 3-hop shot into the corner there as a nice diagonal possible pass there. St. Louis Park able to steal that. And 2 periods are complete here at the Rec Center, as only 1 goal in the second period, as another power play goal was scored in the second period at the 7:19 mark by St. Francis, as Jessica St. Marie scored her first goal of the season for the sophomore, assisted by Natalie St. Marie and Anderson. Gentlemen, I didn't quite catch the full on the shots here. Did you catch that?
St. Louis Park, 10 shots in the second period for a 2-period total of 17 compared to 6 for St. Francis. They've got a 2-period total of 12.
Okay.
And I think probably the part that's missing there is how many rebounds and bangs they've had in scrums in front of the net, and just haven't been able to get their stick on it to finish it. So as far as pressure situations, besides St. Louis Park leading in the shots, certainly in the slot, battling in front of that crease area, you definitely say St. Louis Park has had the upper hand. Now on execution on the power play, certainly St. Francis has got 2, and we've had our opportunities and just haven't been able to put them in the basket.
3 power play goals after 2 periods, and the Orioles will attempt to come back and knot it up in the third. Before we step away, I just wanted Kevin to take a couple minutes if we could. We talked a little bit about your background growing up in St. Louis Park, near the roller gardens and going to high school there. I believe you went to Brown Institute out of high school too, and you became a disciple of the radio TV business and really worked your way up. Why don't you tell everybody about your career path heading to the Wild?
Basically, what I did when I first got out of high school, I went to, at the time it was Mankato State, now it's Minnesota State. I'll always be a Maverick. I was only there for a short period of time because then I decided I wanted to go the broadcasting route. That's when I ended up going to Brown. At the time, again, another name change. It was Brown Institute, now it's Brown College.
Okay.
I went there and ended up interning at K-Fan. And now we're talking about 93 at the time when I was doing my internship there at the Fan. And at that time it was Thor Tolo, Chad Hartman, and Dan Barrero were a team at that time. Michelle Tafoya was on the air there.
Yeah.
I think Randy Shaver had a show. I interned under Bob Yates and Kenny Olson in the morning. And so, I mean, this is a long, long time ago. And that's where I cut my teeth working in the Vikings broadcast as well. So I interned there for a year, did a year of like overnights and stuff like that just to kind of get my feet wet, and mostly learning what the industry was all about. Made a ton of contacts that I still keep in touch with to this day, and used that internship to land a job in Denver. Lived and worked in Denver for 5 years, a startup all sports station out there, FM, what was it, the Fan, AM 950 The Fan or something like that in Denver, and I worked there for 5 years, and it was great because, you know, it was a startup operation, so I was able to cover. When I was there, the Quebec Nordiques had just moved there and became the Colorado Avalanche. The Denver Broncos won 2 Super Bowls while I was there. Mile High was moved into Invesco. I saw the opening of Coors Field, the Pepsi Center. I saw the demolition of McNichols Arena. I saw some really cool things and worked with some tremendous athletes. When you think about John Elway and Joe Sakic and Patrick Waugh and Ray Bork, I mean, all these guys came through there during my time, and it was just fantastic. I'm a college football guy too, and got a chance to see some real good football down there. Colorado's really bad these days, but at that time it was just off the Cordell Stewart years and Bieniemy and some of those guys, and going down to Air Force. So I saw some real cool sports there, and I'd probably still be there to this day if it wasn't for the opportunity to come back, move home, work in radio, and cover hockey. I mean, 1, 2, 3. Those are my 3 main criteria for happiness, and I got all 3 of them. That's why I moved back, and I've been with the Wild since 2000. So it's been a fun ride, and I can't wait to see what happens next.
Yeah, and we should mention, you know, you're one of the inaugural employees. I used to be good friends with Bill Robertson, and I worked with Mike Snee, and even with what's going on with the lockout, you know, it's great for us as hockey fans. Even with what's going on with the NHL, as Minnesotans, there's just so many ways to spend your hockey entertainment time. I mean, we've got Pee Wee A and Bantam games. We've got high school, college.
Without a doubt. I mean, that's what's so great about Minnesota. I mean, the fact is, for me personally, from a real selfish standpoint, it really stinks that we don't have the National Hockey League right now. But there are so many other outlets when it comes to hockey in this state, which is why, you know, why I love living here, because I am a hockey guy through and through. But I mean, you've got so many different outlets, whether it be college, whether it be high school, even going younger than that, there's always a place to go find a game. And then this time of year, you know, we're going to start flooding the rinks and get out there and play a little shinny as well. So it's great. That's, you know, one of the biggest things about this place that I love, and I hope to carry on to my boys as they come up through, hopefully as an Oriole.
Well, and we won't touch on the lockup because
I can touch on it. I mean, there's only so much I can say because of the fact that I am a Wild employee, you know, as anyone would know. All I'll say about it is it stinks, especially here in Minnesota. I mean, there are places that are in worse shape than Minnesota. Here we sit there around July 4th and we're watching Twitter and we're trying to see what's going to happen, and we end up getting bing bang, Zach Parise and Ryan Suter are both going to wear Wild uniforms, and it seems like that was a decade ago. I mean, that was only a few months ago, but it seems like with all the labor strife, we've yet to see him in a Wild uniform. So there's some real good things coming here as a Wild fan. Now it's just being patient and letting them figure all that stuff out. Who's to blame? I don't know. Just get it figured out. Let's get out there, because not only do you have those 2 guys, I'll tell you, for Wild fans, there's a lot of reason to be excited, and a lot of it centers around that youth down there in Houston. Mikhail Granlund is going to be a stud in this league. Charlie Coyle is going to be a stud in this league. Jason Zucker has the potential to be a real good player, and those are just the top 3. I mean, Jonas Brodin is a guy that I heard we had some fantasy camps going on in St. Paul today, and Mike Yo was leading the way. And you talk about Granlund, Coyle, Zucker. There's also a kid named Jonas Brodin, who they drafted in the last couple of years with their first-round pick, who has the potential to be in their top 4 in a very short amount of time. If they played tomorrow, Jonas Brodin would most likely be in a Wild uniform if he's healthy. He's dealing with a broken clavicle at this point, so tomorrow he wouldn't be in the lineup, but he's a guy that is going to be in the NHL very soon for a very long time. Lots of reasons to be excited if you can get through the bitter pill that is the labor strife that's going on.
Well, and we should mention, too, the one nice thing for the younger players that haven't really established themselves as NHL players is by having the CHL as an opportunity to go for and get tons of ice. The level of play in the CHL must be unbelievable this year, in a way. Or AHL.
Yeah, the American Hockey League has been outstanding. We saw it in 2004, the last time we went through all this nonsense. It was the same type of deal. Basically what they've done is they've taken the 4 worst players on their American Hockey League roster, moved them over to the East Coast Hockey League, and they've been replaced by 4 high-level talented NHL guys. I mean, those top 4 guys for the Houston Aeros, for example, for the Wild, would be on the Wild roster if not for the fact that we're going through this labor stuff. So Marco Scandella, Mikhail Granlund, Charlie Coyle, and throw out another one. They've basically taken the job of 4 guys who would be on there, but what that has done is raised the bar for the level of play there all across that league. So that's been some outstanding hockey. It's not easy for, not readily accessible for a hockey fan here to take that in. You'd have to do it via the internet and via a laptop or whatever, but it has been a real high level quality of hockey. And the Arrows, you know, I mean, it's worth paying attention to, because if you are a Wild fan, because that is the future of Minnesota Wild hockey, they just got done with a 6-game winning streak. They've won 7 of their last 8. Charlie Coyle, Zucker, Granlund have all been lighting it up. So it's been fun to keep track of, even though we haven't been able to actually see them right here in our own backyard.
Well, and one thing I want to compliment the Wild on, and I have had season tickets since before the team started, and I think what's great is, irregardless of what happens with the product on the ice, or even in the turmoil of the lockout, the Wild consistently have events like Halloween parties, or open skating nights, or just different special events, or things that make the fans feel still connected to the team. And I think that's really what will continue to drive things through, irregardless of what happened with the strike.
Yeah, and you know what? And like you said, I've been there since the beginning. I've seen it go from Bob Nagley to Craig Leopold. I've seen it go from Todd Leiweke to Matt Maka and some of the other brass that have come and gone, and Jacques Lemaire to Todd Richards to Mike Yeo, and some of the guys that have come and gone through the on-ice product as well. And the one consistent has always been about the grassroots. I mean, that's one thing that no one can say anything about when it comes to the Minnesota Wild. What they've done as far as the grassroots and keeping it close to the vest when talking about the youth hockey and how they try to give back through the Wild Foundation and all that stuff. I don't think anyone can argue what they've done there. Even just that, something just visual, the jerseys hanging around the arena. I think that's a pretty cool touch,
Yeah,
and no one else does that.
No, and every home game there's a different youth group that's selling programs. And there's a different team that's skating on the ice, intermissions or after games. Yeah, there's nothing. The customer service is top notch, absolutely.
I like to think so, and you know what? Just like anything, they can always be better. But I think that's one thing that I have a lot of pride about, is the way the Minnesota Wild treat the fans and treat youth hockey in this state. They treat it with the respect it deserves, and that's one thing that I love about it.
Well, and it's great. I really wanted to thank you too for coming out to some of these games. I know we should mention next Tuesday we've got the Orioles against Holy Angels, which should be a really competitive game. Both teams in similar fashion. I'm going to step away, and I believe I'm being permanently replaced by Kevin. Because Kevin and John, you're going to be calling the game here next Tuesday.
I'm looking forward to it, John.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Yes, Farmer, you are. Play-by-play is going to Kevin, and it should be fun.
Exactly.
You talked about the community and just how good the Wild is, and they are. And I, like everybody, I'm anxious for the nonsense stand and them to get back to playing, because it's huge for the city of St. Paul from an economic standpoint, but it's also huge for all the kids in this state. And I've got we talked a little earlier about our Finnish exchange student, and there's nothing more when he came here looking forward to going to an NHL game. And so we're cautiously optimistic this will get settled and they'll start right after the new year.
Is he a Koivu fan? I mean, he must be a Koivu fan, right?
Oh yes. Well, and I'll tell you, it was so nice, because if there's one good thing about the strike is what they were using our rec center here to keep in shape. And
we had a lot of them there.
And we were fortunate that both Koivu and Backstrom were here one day. They heard we had a Finnish exchange student, and with the help of Sean Podine, because we were letting him use the boy high school locker room, he came all the way from Finland to meet 2 Finlanders right here at the rec center, Koivu and Backstrom. So it was very nice.
But I'll tell you this much, and I haven't witnessed it for myself, but especially in that country right now, I don't know that there's a bigger athlete in Finnish sports, and certainly Finnish, maybe Timo Solani, but I mean, Mikko Koivu is right there at the top when they talk about guys that they look up to. And I mean, this is his, well, I don't want to put too much on it, but I mean, the way it's been explained to me, it's like they're Wayne Gretzky, you know, live and in living color. Now, I mean, I'm not making any comparisons, Koivu to Gretzky, but the way they look up to him and the way he carries himself, I think it used to be that way with Saku. It is that way with Timo Solani, but they love their Mikko Koivu. And I'll tell you, who's hot on his heels is Mikael Granlund. I bet your guy there, Jesper, is a big fan of Granlund, right?
Well, he is. As a matter of fact, his opening gift, we picked him up at the airport in September. We brought him home. We were getting him situated where his room was, and he brought out a gift for us. He goes, I brought this, and it was a Granlund jersey.
How about that?
Oh, wow.
So, and that's still hanging down in our rec room in the basement. Yeah. So that was his gift to the family when he came here, and it's a beautiful jersey.
I don't think people here would realize how big these guys are in their native country, because from what I've heard, you know, the billboards, and these guys can't walk down the street. It would be like Michael Jordan walking down the street here. I mean, he'd be mobbed by people. I mean, that's an old reference.
Sure.
I don't know who a current.
Maybe a LeBron or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's exactly right. A LeBron walking down the streets in some city here in
John
the United
Basil
States.
walking down the street in St. Louis
Louis Park. Right, same deal.
People run the other way, Frommer. People run the other way, I assure you that.
Well, it's fun, though. It's fun. I know those guys, they started the season out in Finland. Couple years ago, they opened up against Carolina Hurricanes, and they played the first 2 games of their year out there, and so they got a chance to do the sauna and everything else that's great about Finland. And I know they had a blast, and I'm sure many of them hope to go back there again sometime soon.
Well, and you know, it's really wonderful, not only with the NHL network, but with, you know, MLB network, et cetera. You can get the exposure and the games that took place in the past where, I mean, I remember in 92, 93 when Solani was a rookie and playing for the Winnipeg Jets, and we happened to go, I went with a couple buddies and we went up to the old Winnipeg Arena. And boy, that's a great story, by the way, too. Winnipeg getting the NHL back last year, and another reason why we really are excited.
And not only that, but the former Winnipeg team struggling to just stay afloat. And now the Winnipeg gets another team back, and they're, you know, fresh, new, brand new, and exciting. It is cool, though. Once this realignment, once they get all this labor and all this other crap behind them, that's going to be one of the center points about this new. It's not going to happen this year, but once they get the realignment, most likely next October, again, knock on wood that everything gets finalized and finished, they're going to have this labor or the divisional alignment where the Wild are going to have like the old North Star rivalry.
Chicago,
you're going to go up against
St.
Chicago, Detroit, St. Louis, and Nashville, but Dallas. You get that Winnipeg rivalry, and there's going to be some real fun times to be had in the very near future. Having worked every single game in Wild history, I've definitely enjoyed my times around midnight when they were just wrapping up the second period in Vancouver. Those have been fun, but I'm looking forward to a 7 o'clock start in Chicago or Detroit or St. Louis. More of those.
And as the kids get older, your wife will really be enjoying the teams in the regular Central Time Zone.
Doesn't matter what time I'm up till. They get up at the same time every day. They don't care.
So Dad can at least eventually get home early. Yeah, exactly. Well, we didn't really step away, Paul, down in the truck, but really nice conversation and really touched on a lot of different things. And I know we should mention the upcoming Park TV schedule for St. Louis Park games. Next Tuesday, St. Louis Park is playing Holy Angels in girls hockey. Next Thursday, we've got finally our home opener on the boys' side, as we're going to be here as the St. Francis comes to town next Thursday. And then next Friday, we have the first girls basketball game of the season for St. Louis Park. So really trying to hit them all, and there you can see the number again if you want to order a copy of tonight's game, or you can visit parktv.org or call the 952-924-2635 number. $15 for a DVD. If you have 3 friends, I know I don't, but if you do, if you have 3 or more, you get a DVD for only $10 a piece. So you can also combine your orders. Paul will work with you. So, and just a reminder again, too, Paul wanted me to mention that the HD Game of the Month on Comcast Video for the month of December is the St. Louis Park Apple Valley boys basketball game from last week. So you Comcast subscribers, make sure you access your video on demand. I know I use that a lot for who we are. So
this Paul is really demanding. He just tells you what to do, and you yes, sir.
He's the director. Well, we do.
I've got such a steep salary of the city that in the benefit package they provide me that I've got to listen to what they want, Kevin. You know how it is.
I know exactly. I wish I knew how it was.
Right. Well, we're back here for the third period. Both teams will throw their first units out there. Here's number 23 breaking it in this time for St. Francis. That's St. Marie, who scored the second goal of the game to put them ahead. And here's Brune Bryant with some wheels up the near side, going to the forehand. She's got a possible break. Puck is in front and momentarily lost in between a set of skates there.
Nice play by St. Marie to break that thing up for St. Francis, because she had a real good opportunity right there in front of the goal crease.
Really nice to see Eva Rosejohn supporting Megan Behrens there when Megan pinched in again too. And then Eva with a 3-hopper on net, and there's the young lady that kicks it to the side. Bullen, who's probably had the best game of anyone so far for St. Francis.
I think the keys for Park this third period is keep the forecheck going heavy and stay out of the box and just keep going hard at the net. And if they do that, they should be able to get a goal or two and hopefully pull this one out.
Nice headman pass by Jermusik, and she does a beautiful baseball impression and hits a fastball out of the zone there for St. Louis Park to gain possession in the St. Francis zone. Catherine Evans off the line change came flying in there trying to corral that puck. She's kind of like a little spider bug. She's very small, but she's really fast, and she's not tall, so she goes kind of hidden under the radar there. Here's Schrank behind the net. She's got Evans out front and Behrens. Behrens goes to the backhand. Schrank forehand redirected.
They got one. They got one.
And Leah's able to draw that penalty. I think we're going to have a checking minor called.
Megan's got to be careful here now.
Yep. Don't want to shoot it in your own net accidentally. But nice job by the Orioles with that unit with Catherine Evans and Leah Schrank. Kept the pressure on, and even though there was only 2 of them against 3 St. Francis players, a penalty, and that's going to take Taylor to the box again. The best defenseman for St. Francis gets her second penalty of the game.
Here comes the power play unit for the Orioles, and they've been working it well. They've been putting a lot of pressure on.
I've been very impressed with the effort tonight, too. I mean, I think you've got some definite things to be encouraged on. Here's Behrens, top of the umbrella, weak side to Kiefer. Oh, wrister, little high blocker action there, pushed into the corner.
She saw some daylight there, and it was a shutdown real quick there by Bullen.
Just power play for St. Louis Park. Don't have it marked up on the board here, but
definitely a power play.
Yep, definite power play. Here's Behrens out there with Brune Bryant, Noreen, Arnson, and Basil. Here's Molly, gains speed, possession. The left-handed shooter, the junior, sweeps around the neck, gain possession, top of the umbrella. She's got Behrens and Noreen. Noreen back to Behrens. Behrens top of the circle. Straight on. Noreen in the corner. Nice job by the Saints running their box. Here's Arnson behind the net. Molly going to the backhand, being pursued that time by Duville. Back to Megan with a wrister. Ooh, and that hit off of Danae Duville's arm. And here's a follow-up rebound, and a puck batted down low and almost hit in by Basil that time. They probably aren't going to exchange holiday greetings, those girls out front, but that's okay. It's a competitive game.
There is, and there's been a lot of battles in front of the net. We just can't seem to get that rebound past the goaltender.
Well, and she doesn't give up really large rebounds either. They're all seem to be in that controllable area of a foot or 2 each side. Here's Behrens with a wrister again, and that hits off the backside of a St. Francis player, Struzik. Holly Anderson out there as well for the Saints. Behrens again in the top, keeps it low, and it's pumped up in the air. But nice vision that time as she's able to track the puck and corral it that time for a faceoff.
And once again, Bullen just gobbles it up. I mean, there's no rebound to be had. That glove goes up on top of it. It jumped right up in front of her. She grabs it, slams it into the blue ice, and they get a faceoff to her right.
There it is. And there's the win as Brune Bryant off the draw. It's the power play goal at the 13:20 mark. And a beautiful twisted wrister right by Bullen will tie it up, and our 4th power play goal of the game. I guess that's as the band strikes up the Oriole Rouser. Nice to have the band present today, and Paul, if we get a chance to go to that, just another clean face-off win that time. So nice face-off win, I believe, by Molly Arnson off that right to Lauren Brune Bryant.
They They had good traffic in front of the net, set up a screen, and I think that's how you're going to have to beat this goaltender.
Yeah, because she takes a low athletic stance, and she's not too tall, so she sees a lot of things between the legs, I think. So here's a break, this time a possible 2-on-1 for St. Francis, and here's 25 for them. That's Lepo. Haven't called her name, and a beautiful laser that time by Danae Duville from the point. Doesn't able to get through, but she's able to hold possession on the pinch there. Carlander holds on to it there, decided she wanted to have a fresh break there. So 12:44 remaining in the third stanza, and Donnie Williams' crew able to knot it up at 2 here.
They deserve that too. I mean, they've been working so hard, and I think they've been really playing a really good game. They've been up against a hot goaltender in Poulin, but finally rewarded for all their hard work. Their second power play, 4th of the game, and that spells trouble when you talk about the power play, how it's been proficient for both sides. The St. Francis is going to have a chance here to play with the man advantage.
Just a little trip off the draw here as we go to the replay. I think that might have been, that might have been Noreen who accidentally got her stick caught there. So Sophia Noreen gets the gate at 12:40, and that first unit for St. Francis out there with Swanson, Downey, and Sigfrinius. Nice job to relieve pressure that time. Is Natalie Vig out there on defense with Megan Behrens, and you've got Lauren Brune-Bryant and also Molly Arnson up on the forwards, and Molly collides with a youngster in the corner there.
Great pressure by Molly again, though, with her speed, being able to get down there.
Yeah.
Very, very good, and it creates problems for them to get their power play breakout, and almost a turnover there.
Is she, she's so athletic. Does she play several other sports?
She plays
John?
lacrosse, and she's.
I thought maybe track would be natural for her too.
Anything that she can swing a racket at: tennis, track, lacrosse, and golf. Or so she likes to have something in her hands.
Well, I'm sure the softball program at Park could use her bat. Yeah. All right. So 1:25 remaining in the power play. Back out to the point for St. Francis. This is Kaler. The nice hard shot, but well wide of the net, and Danielle Duville will push it behind down low, where Natalie Vig pursues with some speed. Just under 12 minutes remain here. Back to Kaler again with another hard slap shot, and that time she's denied right out in front by Lauren Brune-Bryant, who catches it in her midsection.
And goes in hot pursuit after that puck. They bounced off her midsection.
Yeah, she doesn't feel any pain, I guess, obviously. And here's Megan Behrens with a nice step up and a steal, trying to gain some speed. And look at her, she just collides right down and slides like a bowling ball right through the pins there to knock her to her feet. Here's Duville again. One half of the Duville sisters. You've got Danielle, number 6, and Anna, number 5 back there. Only 30 seconds remaining in the power play, and here's your music. Able to try to twine it through there and able to get it through a series of legs, and the Orioles will finish their change on the fly. There's Swanson over to Downey. Downey and Swanson with Sigfrinius out there. Follow up this time by, a nice shot on net that time by St. Marie, one half of the sisters.
This will be a nice kill if the Orioles can pull it off. They got 5 seconds to get, if they can win this draw and get their person to come out of the box and go to the puck, we should be okay.
I don't have a copy of the Orioles schedule, but I don't know if these teams play again later on in the season, but certainly would be a game worth watching if you're an Oriole fan, because very even competitive game and nice battle. Duville out of the point. Oh, she had a young lady in the front there. It looked like she had Callie Wagner over there, but the pass skipped over her stick and she's unable to get it. Puck is broken out and shot diagonally across the ice. Nobody home for St. Louis Park. But here's Noreen with a step up and a nice job just gaining possession, making sure Park gets the puck down low. Arnson back to Behrens. Behrens with a wrister, several bodies in front, and I don't know if that was Brune-Bryant or Arnson.
Someone.
Yeah, boy, a beautiful wrister, had some height to it, several sets of legs, Kevin, and arms. I'm sure the goalie couldn't see that at all.
Sticks, legs, arms, just about everything else.
Get traffic in front of this goalie, and I think they found a way to beat her. Get the puck out high, put traffic in front, get a screen, get a tip.
I'm not sure if that was Brune-Bryant or Arnson. We'll have to listen for the official announcement, but either way, Megan Behrens gets an assist and the band strikes up the rouser at the 10:15 mark.
seems to be the recipe for success on just about any level these days. You throw it in from deep down, from the top of the point, let your defense and for your forwards do the work, and hopefully get a lucky bounce. That's exactly what happened there.
And guys, I think we might have broke the power play goal spell there. We finally got 1-0 on the power play. So it was Lauren Brune-Bryant, correct, that they announced on the redirect. Oh, and here's a follow-up and a beautiful job done to shut it down by Carlander. And a follow-up, and Annika steps out of her comfort zone, is able to control that rebound and angle. Two beautiful chances by Wagner. Number 11 broke down low and had a 2-on-1 sequence there. She really collapsed down with that one knee down method, Carlander, and was able to hold that off. And then she pinched out far enough so that there wasn't much to shoot at. So good job by Carlander.
Those are probably the two biggest saves of the game for her so far, and they were very key at this time of the game.
Yeah, and both within 5 feet, exactly. So 9.5 remaining here in the third stanza. Your music going to the back end. We'll see if St. Francis changes their forecheck at all, if that third man gets deep now constantly on the forecheck, or what they choose to do now that they trail 3-2. Noreen behind her net. Nice headman pass and a nice catch and a redirect out to Schrank. Able to break the zone and pressure. And with speed, here's number 2, Sigfrinius. We called her name a lot today, but she's ridden off nicely by Schrank. She's erased from that sequence. Little 2-on-2 here, and Swanson able to dump it down, and Samantha Jermusic able to kick it off the near wall. Nice job by Duville trying to push that in front. Under 9 minutes remain here. I'm John Fromm, along with the voice of the Wild, my voice of the Wild, Kevin Fallness, and John Basil. Glad you can join us here tonight on Park TV. Little scrum in front of the net there, and here's Natalie Vig. Not able to corral that puck. Is a nice job by St. Francis's number 11, Wagner. Wagner goes behind the net, and the puck is shot out front. Kaler's going to get that at the point, and Lanza Rister. And we've got a takedown, and that's not worth 2 points in wrestling. And an Oriole coach is looking for a penalty, but they're not going to get one.
That was about 1.5 steps away from being a full-blown breakaway. Cunningham had a step on the competition, but got tripped up into the legs. And you saw each and every one of those 4 coaches behind that bench, arms up in the air, like, what are you not calling here?
Yeah, that was very surprised that there was no call on that. They've called a lot of light penalties, and there was clearly a penalty. Whether there's another block, whether it's interference or tripping, she was gone.
Yeah, there's been so many light calls made on just superficial contact almost. Oh, Evans going for the steal. They're not able to get it, but she wasn't able to retouch to get onside. So we should have an exciting finish here with 7:35 remaining. Make sure you alert your friends if they're not watching right now to tune that dial over to channel 16.
Well, I got to tell you about Lauren Brune-Bryant, who's tipped that game, the go-ahead goal here. You know, she learned to skate and played hockey because of her sister, and her sister was a goalie.
And here's Basil.
And of course, her sister ended up deciding not to continue to play, and here Lauren's on the varsity.
Wow, isn't that something? And she's really improved a lot tremendously. You know, John, I just wanted to make a point that with the loss of your daughter, who'd been the leading scorer and really a player the last 2 years that I've seen that the Orioles have so relied on, that the girls have looked for leadership, skill, etc. It seems like the message obviously needed to be that everybody else has to really pull it up. We've got to play much more aggressive. We're not going to sit back in a shell, and it's really materialized in the best effort I've seen in a couple of years.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They are their work ethic, the way they're crashing the net, they could very easily have a couple more goals.
Yeah. Well, and you know, in a weird kind of way, on a coach's perspective, when you lose, so quote unquote, your best player, everybody else really has to pull together and all hands on board for this ship. Here's Anderson for St. Francis. She does battle down low with Behrens. Several bodies down low in the corner there, and it's taken away by St. Francis. Here's Wagner going to her backhand. Callie Wagner, leading scorer for St. Francis. The right-handed shooter tied up momentarily, but a nice job by Wagner. Getting it to Anderson, passed out front, and Behrens able to get a stick on it and momentarily relieve pressure. Megan just holding it into the corner there, trying to make sure she doesn't turn it over. She uses the net to pass it to herself, but unfortunately stolen away, and Megan decides to erase. I think that's Anderson she took out of the play there. So Megan's you need some physical contact at that blue line. I know that's something the boys program's been looking for to get a little more physicality out of their defensemen in front of the net too.
Yeah, you do. You have to tie up sticks, be in good body position. It just takes away scoring opportunities.
So a wrister and a three.
Beautiful save.
Yeah, three hopper that hit off a portion of Carlander's glove and goes into the corner. Music behind her own net. St. Louis Park trying to break out here. Cunningham not able to corral that. And a nice job on the pinch up by St. Marie. For St. Marie again, defensewoman. And here's another break this time for St. Francis. Puck is kind of a scrum in the middle there, and the Orioles are able to get it, relieve pressure, and try to break it out. St. Louis Park trying to finish their change, and they're able to do so. Cunningham able to get it down low for Park. And a nice possible steal on a check there by Leah Schrank. And Evans completes the line change, and here's Catherine Evans on the right wing, doing battle, going down, but still swinging hard.
That water buck you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
Creating havoc with those short legs.
Yeah, it is. She's got some good wheels too. And we had Matt Evans on the Park team the last couple of years. And
yes.
Her brother, similar type build.
Right.
Quiet young man. So Bridget Duffy out there trying to work the forecheck for Park. A little 2-on-2 here developing with Wagner. Forehand, backhand, forehand, wrister right in the breadbasket, corralled, and most importantly, guys, no rebound.
Nice back check by Vig, too, to help get back into the play, because that could have got ugly real quick. It was borderline a 2-on-1, but Vig gets back into the backward skating, takes away the right forward, and makes it a 1-on-1 situation, a little more manageable for the goaltender.
Great point, Kevin, and even if there would have been a rebound, there was two Orioles there to probably push that aside. So we're under 5 minutes remaining here. We're going to have an icing whistle against Park. Anything, guys, that you can see that St. Louis Park should tweak or adjust the last 5 minutes?
Don't
or just
change
don't
anything.
Change
Anything. Keep it down. Keep it down in the other end.
Here,
But I think what they have to make sure is that they've got the lead now, and the D have done a nice job of rushing up. They don't want to let anybody behind them in the last 5 minutes.
Right.
And when in doubt in the neutral zone, put it deep. As soon as they get over that red line, put it deep and keep it down there as much as they can and let that time work for you.
And Wagner out there again, and here's Downey and Swanson, and I believe that's Sigfrinius out there for St. Francis. They're able to hold in again. But here's Basil with a nice win, and she's got a possible break here, but she's going to be cut off at the pass that time by Kaler. Nice forecheck by Basil, trying to harass Kaler. Kaler with good wheels. Molly Arnson saying, not so fast, Miss Kaler. I've got you on my radar. And indeed she did. As we pass the 4-minute mark of the third period, Eva Rose, the Orioles are able to complete their line change with Rose out there with Cunningham. And here's Kaler again, the right-handed shot off Megan Behrens' shin pads. Behrens with a breakout, and a nice job by Rose, able to kick that from her foot right onto her stick there. Nice job by Eva. Oh, and Leah Schrank with a steal, and then follow up by Eva Rose. Nice job on the forecheck by Schrank, Rose, as well as Cunningham on that right side.
Schrank forces that turnover. Rose gets that shot on net. Loose change in the slot, batted away by the St. Francis defense.
And here's number 11 on a brick break. Wagner again, as they're only skating 2 lines now. Oh, a nice glove hand by the youngster Carlander.
And it through traffic too. That's a very nice save. She was square to the puck. Puck came through traffic. Nice glove hand.
Those are the ones that, as a goaltender, make you a little nervous. Duval just floated that in from the top of the point, and a great save there. There wasn't much to it, but those are the kinds that kind of bounce and flutter past you in a hurry.
Well, and really nice too for Carlander to have some success here tonight. Also being supported by the defense, and any rebound that she's given up, it seems like Behrens or Vig have been able to knock out of the way. 3:05 remaining. Still 3-2 St. Louis Park. Ooh, and a one-time shot is snapped. Nice to see a snapshot by Dubil, but unfortunately for the Saints it goes wide. Might have a possible hold of the stick there, but the officials let that one go.
That's a good play there just to chip it out of the zone.
I was going to say the exact same thing. And not just because she's your daughter. That was a great play right off the
you don't want the pressure,
there.
yeah. You don't
right
want
off
the pressure right now. Get it out. Put it deep. Put it deep.
That's what she's going to try to do here, too. Arnson, St. Louis Park only one forechecker. Brune Bryant with a possible break there, but unable to corral that. Nice job again by Basil. She's able to steal it away and most importantly, send it right on ice. Wow. Goalie dropped the paddle down, but didn't have it down all the way and tried to corral it. We almost had a long goal there, yeah. As a goalie parent, I can relate to that.
Yeah.
So, the fear that a parent
No
might have,
save's an easy save, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That would have been best case scenario. In a good case scenario, still you get the face-off down deep in St. Francis zone. Looks like we're going to have a timeout called here by St. Francis. But, I think overall this has been exactly what the Orioles deserve. They may even deserve to be up by a couple of goals at this point. But the goaltender's been real good on the other end of the ice, and they've just been happy to skate with the lead here with the final 2:22 left to go in regulation.
And the man just talking is the man in the middle there, not only in our broadcast but on your screen. That is Kevin Fallness, the voice of the Wild, a St. Louis Park grad if you're just tuning in. I'm John Fromm, the announcer for tonight, joined by John Basil. And Kevin and John will be back for Tuesday, December 18th's game when the Orioles host Holy Angels. That's our next call in St. Louis Park Sports. And then next Thursday, as we mentioned, we've got the Oriole boys program. John, we haven't really talked about the boys team, but I know a lot of changes that took place this year and really much more team-centered game. Kids have to fight and claw their way through everything. Seemed like a lot of good progress in the Hopkins game, though.
I was impressed on Tuesday, I'll tell you.
The work ethic against Hopkins was very, very high. They worked very hard. They're just having a little bit of trouble finding the back of the net. But they've been playing hard. You can tell the boys have that desire to put a W up there, and they're going to continue to work hard, and I think good things will come.
What's their schedule look like? I know that Hopkins was a pretty tough one.
Hopkins is a tough one now. We talked about they got St. Francis coming in, and
Orono Saturday.
Orono's going to be a real test for them.
Right.
No doubt about it.
Yeah, they've got that Flemmer kid as well as that Gavin Payne. I don't know if you've ever had a chance to see either one of them, but pretty impressive youngsters. So as we're back to live action, just over 2 minutes remaining, and here's St. Marie trying to break the zone for St. Francis, but Molly Arnson puts the kibosh on that. Over to Behrens, and she's got Brune Bryant ahead, pushes it to her, and it goes between her legs, but unfortunately no contact made, and we're going to get an icing whistle. So it's a little bad fortune there for the Orioles.
Yeah, you just want to try to get your stick on it, get a skate on it, just touch it a little bit so the icing doesn't get called.
So yeah, this is the busiest man around. He had the daughters here, then he's helping coach the boys team, and then he's got Willie playing on the Pee Wee A team, and that's going pretty good too, right, John?
Yeah, it's very nice to see our Pee Wee A team ranked.
Yeah, we'll touch back on that in just a minute, and a nice wrister. Fortunately for St. Francis, not able to gain possession of that puck, and Arnson trying to hold it in. Taken away, and we've got Kaler out there now with some strength and speed trying to shoot it down low on Carlander. She drops down, and with the possible threat of a Saint breaking in, she's able to stop there.
Donnie's got a timeout at his disposal yet too.
Yeah, and make sure he's got the right combination and the fresh legs he wants.
Looks like St. Francis is pulling the goaltender here too, so it'll be 6-on-5 for at least the immediate time being, with that faceoff coming here deep in St. Louis Park territory.
Yeah, Donnie will take his timeout now, which is probably the right thing to do. Rest the players that he wants to have out there and kind of go from there.
Nice to see. We had Elena on after the first intermission, and I've had a chance to watch her standing on the bench, and she's really talking a lot to a lot of girls, and she seems in real good spirits. She's dancing around a little bit. Looks like she's been blessed with the Basil soul and rhythm that a lot of them have.
Well, you're thankful that she's all right and she's recovering. No doubt it was a traumatic event for our family, for the team, for the coaches. You never like to see someone have to go have to leave a game in the ambulance, and spend a little time, but she's coming around. She's about half days back at school right now, and And hopefully that'll continue, and maybe next week or the week after she can get back to full days in school.
Was that what was it called, a concussion? Is that
Oh yeah, it was. It's probably one of the more serious concussions that I've seen. I've seen many concussions. She was dry heaving and vomiting on the ice, and was pretty disorientated. And subsequently, they transported her to Hennepin County Medical Center, where she was in the trauma unit for about a day and a half, and then returned home, and everything's fine. Just diagnosed as a serious concussion. Unfortunately, it's her third one, and that's why the decision's been made to be done for the year, and we'll reevaluate things and look to next year.
It's a tough decision to make, but that's not something you want to screw around with. I mean, I'm talking to her dad. I don't have to tell you, but just for anybody out there, that's a scary thing for sure.
Right. So the net is empty, and Basil's able to win possession of that puck over to Arnson, her wrister, and a beautiful save.
Jeez.
Beautiful save by number 6.
Utilized the butterfly. That was a defenseman, went down in the butterfly. Almost a kick save.
Not only was it a good shot, but there was 3 Orioles standing
shut down
right there,
the 5-hole and everything. That was awesome.
So only a minute remains, but St. Francis still in the game because of that save, and Kaler over to the far wall. She's got her defensive partner Dubiel, who made that great save. Her wrister, beautiful job using her right inside pad by Brood Bryan. Then able to shoot it 3/4 of the way down. Ooh, I thought maybe they'd wave the icing off, because to me it looked like the St. Francis player definitely
was in that gray area, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
It was Kaler, and Kaler looked at the lineman too as he was making the backwards progress, and said, "You're gonna blow that whistle?" Finally, the arm went up, and they call the icing. So pretty important face-off coming here.
We don't have the clock up on the board, but 45 seconds remain in the third stanza here. Orioles trying to cling to a 1-goal lead, and nicely done, but we're gonna have another icing call, as I believe Molly Arnson ices that.
No question on that one.
Yeah, that one was icy.
That one was for sure.
But this isn't too bad right now, because they're keeping their same 5 players out. So a couple ices gives them a chance to catch their breath.
And you drag 9 seconds off the clock as well. So.
And here's St. Marie on the face-off against Arnson. St. Marie is able to win the draw. Back to Duvel with a slap shot just wide of the net. Almost hit Jermusic back of her leg.
That's what I was afraid of when I saw that shot come from all the way out there. She wasn't looking, and it very easily could have deflected in off the back of her leg pad.
Yeah, it would have been. So here's Kaler able to hold it in. Only 20 seconds remain. Nice job by Basil as well as Arnson trying to check off the puck. And Molly is able to break it out of the zone. So St. Francis will have to regroup. Only 10 seconds remain. Kaler goes to the backhand.
Offsides.
We're going to have an offsides. Only 6 seconds remain, and most importantly, it looks like good news for Oriole fans, as that faceoff's going to be outside the blue line. And the Orioles clinging to their 3-2 lead, and with a 1-5-1 balance sheet, St. Louis Park looks like they're going to go to 2-5-1, and that'll do it, as we see the excitement and the girls explode off the bench and celebrate with Annika Carlander, as the Orioles, in a week where they've had a lot of turmoil, able to gather 2 third-period goals and come from behind and get a 3-2 victory.
Both victories that they've had this year and their tie, they've come from behind. They were down 2-1 against Tartan. They came back, beat them in overtime. Here today, they came back, scored 2 goals in the third, and come back and knock off St. Francis 3-2. And of course, Kennedy, where they tied 3-3, they were down 3-2 in the third and came back to tie that one up, and that was an overtime tie.
Well, and I can't, kind of like what the St. Louis Park Baseball Legion team went through last year, where they had an experience with Derek Keller where it was really traumatic for the kids. I can imagine it's been a rough week for the girls emotionally to deal with this, but they pulled together, and Donnie was able to somehow, and the girls, to get them to focus, Kevin, to give it was honestly their best effort of the year, in my opinion.
I'll tell you, I don't know what my expectations were coming into this tilt, but I was thoroughly entertained. Start to finish, this was actually a very fun, a very exciting hockey game. Right from the opening drop of the face-off all the way down to the end, there was some great goaltending, some great defensive play, and some pretty goal scoring as well. So I thought this had a little bit of everything. I was very impressed with what I saw. I can't wait till next week when we get to do it again.
Oh, yeah. And listen, the Orioles are on a winning streak, and Kevin Fallness is behind the mic, so both things are going to continue next Tuesday, although Saturday, tough bit of medicine for the Orioles. the Red Knights have been ill at this park. So regardless of what happens on Saturday, should be a great one on Tuesday, and make your way out to the rec center. It was Molly Arnson who tied it up at the 3:36 mark with the fourth power play goal of the game for St. Louis Park. And then Bruin Bryant also lighting the lamp for St. Louis Park as well. And didn't get the official shot totals. We had, 17-12 after 2?
Yeah. The game winner, the ultimate game winner there, for that deflection in from the shot from the point, from deflected in from down deep. I mean, that was just, you know what, they got exactly what they deserved. They deserved to win this game. They got it done in the end, but give credit to, if we were doing a 3 stars type thing, Bullen would be definitely a mention amongst the 3 of them, because she was the reason why that team was still in this thing and down to the end. A
great athletic posture in the net for St. Francis, and really a lot to build on. As you see, there's another varsity game after this, a rare doubleheader here at the rec center. But on behalf of John Basil and Kevin Fallness, we want to remind you that we'll be with you next week again for both girls and boys hockey. You can order a copy of this game by calling 952-924-2635, or make sure you tell your friends to visit parktv.org. Final comments, anybody?
It's been a pleasure, Kevin. I'm glad I got to work with you. I can't wait till next Tuesday.
Thanks for having me.
You know, it's always good working with a farmer, but at least now I got someone to keep some space between the 2 of us.
And you've got somebody professional to work with. Well, somebody who's actually wearing socks.
Yeah. I am. If that makes me professional, I am wearing socks. Absolutely.
There you go. You got it covered. Well, good night, everybody, from the rec center, and really enjoyed having you tonight. Thanks again.